Hello, I'm Stephen Monkey Mason, and I am back with the one and only Paul Ray.
Hello there.
Yes, we are about to do the podcast for Innerspace, and I'm going to press play after on one. So 3, 2, 1, play. Right, this is an audio track. It's not the film, so yeah, feel free to give us grief or whatever. I'm going to have a few warnings on here, like an FBI warning, because this is an American one. You give me, Paul. I'm watching it on.
Yeah. Oh, mint. Well, let us know when the Warner Brothers symbol comes up.
I will. Well, there we go. Warner Brothers is just flickering in now. Like it's yeah, it's not the old school Warner Brothers ones. It's got that whole twist coming on there and Time Warner Company one. So we haven't done a podcast since The Burbs, have you? Which was a Joe Dante film. And I was watching Matinee last night. Ah, there he is. Steven Spielberg got his fingers in this as well.
Obviously, yeah, he loves Joe Dante. Like, the best thing about the film is the score. Jerry Goldsmith. I'm going to talk about Jerry Goldsmith all the time. Like, I love his score. And it's like, I don't know if you kind of hear it now, but it's like, and you have like echoes in the background and stuff like that. But it's it's one of my all-time favourite films. Like, probably 80s classic.
Well, that's it. I mean, Joe Dante owned the 80s, man. He owned the 80s. He was very what, like unsure in the 90s, wasn't he? And then basically, some of his 2000s ones have been a bit like proper off cue, haven't they?
Yeah. He's had more flops than anything else, but like I said, Joe Dante, I absolutely love it. But I said the opening of this film is so good. It's because of what's happening, because you have no idea what the film's going to go on. What's going to happen in this film. It's just like because obviously it's you think it's in space, don't you? And then obviously you realise it's just like a glass getting poured, and then the music builds in a little bit like that.
Well, talking about this, we did a tribute for this a good few years ago now. It's one of the very first videos you started popping up in. And going back to the old Warner Brothers, and it almost looks like a Jew Struzan drawing, which maybe will be because of connection to Spielberg. Obviously, Dennis Quaid looking at his hand, Martin Short behind him, and then you've got fucking Meg Ryan behind him looking like she'd been Jokerified. She is fucking terrifying on that artwork. To now the artwork being Martin Short flying through space, glasses, and then loads of floating heads. But this just got chucked out on Blu-ray. This is something Arrow could have had, I think.
Definitely, yeah. It needs a good treatment, it needs loads of features and stuff like that. But I just like I said, it didn't do it well, which is a bit of a shame. Hilarious. Took Pendleton. What a cool name, eh? I always want to choose my name, Paul Pendleton.
Paul Pendleton. One of Dennis Quaid's best films is Frequency. It's an amazing film.
And Dragonheart.
Well, not too much Dragonheart, man. I mean,
I love Dragonheart. I love Dennis Quaid. And also Dennis Quaid's son is in The Boys at the moment, which is the superhero comic book adaptation. Who looks actually like spit double of Dennis Quaid. Spit double of him.
I didn't realise Randy Quaid was his fucking brother for years. And then once you know that, I mean, don't get us wrong, you don't really judge somebody being related on the name, but like you can totally tell. But if you want to talk about Dennis Quaid, fucking Jaws 3, man.
Oh yeah, Jaws 3, yes. It's awesome, like.
Ah!
But yeah, the first time watching this film, I got to say, it was not on VHS. Nope, it was actually a bank holiday on BBC One at 5 o'clock. I think it was like early 90s.
Yeah,
and I was like, what is this? As soon as I watched it, I just fell in love with it. And then next thing you knew, I ended up buying like the X-Rental copy from like my old Fast View Video, my old like mum and papa shop.
This is something that like could totally be remade, but I think because it's in the 90s, it exists in one of them ones where sci-fi was just doesn't go, because obviously there's going to be a lot of throwbacks to the Explorers in this.
Yeah, Picardo's in this also. Was this 87? Was it? I think it was 87.
87, 88, I would say. It's before. Yeah, it's before The Burbs, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Burbs 89. You put to Pendleton. It's just Meg Ryan. What happened to Meg Ryan these days? I mean, she was in everything. think last time I seen a film she was in, it was oh god, was it Sleepers in Seattle? Or You Got Mail?
I mean, You Got Mail's a mint film, but I watched In the Cut when Mark Ruffalo makes her keep molest herself on the bed, and I was like, what the fuck am I watching here?
Aye. It's one of those films, like, people know it, but people just forget about it, you know what I mean? It's one of those crap films. They just emphasize, like, just 80s and stuff. Yeah, they say you don't know what's happening. Obviously, it's based on the Fantastic Voyage from the 50s, really, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's just like sort of like looking at like where they can. I mean, it's a great. I mean, I think we talked about it when we were going to do the original tribute and have the whole like interacting with somebody inside your body, that kind of spoof. Because I mean, it's an easy enough concept, but again, it's done at a time where CGI was creeping along, but obviously they're almost perfected blue and green screen by this point. I think it'd be probably blue screen. But again, it's just kind of, you think about it, like this, like the little ship and all that, and I think the credit goes down there. Like, I think Martin Short really carries this film as well, because he's another one who sort of disappeared.
Yeah, last time I seen him was one. I think it was a Netflix special with him and Steve Martin. That was pretty good. Like, but obviously this would have just been around the same time as the Three Amigos, off the top of my head. Oh, there's a little Warner Brothers placement. Joe Dante loves his Looney Tunes, doesn't he?
Does, well, that's it. Martin Short. Oh, I always remember a film called Pure Luck with Martin Short and Danny Glover.
Right. No, I don't remember that one much, like.
So
yeah, I've always loved Martin Short.
Martin Short, I think in the film when he's allergic to bees, it was one of those. I mean, he was getting back. I mean, he's a predecessor to Jim Carrey, isn't he? Really.
Yeah.
He kind of had that kind of slapstick, like, you know, like the goofy kind of like weird face guy going on for a while, but he went on to overstay. I mean, he's in like sort of the Santa Claus movies and stuff, isn't he?
Santa Claus 3, Jack Frost. And again, this film actually got me into Sam Cooke.
Oh, there he is.
I mean,
there's Dick Jones.
Dick Miller,
sorry.
Alright. Every Joe Dante film he's in. Yeah.
Well, I was watching Matinee last night, and he's in Matinee as well, so.
Yeah, he's just one of those. I mean, we've got his IMDb, man. There's like just thousands of films. He just pops up, man. But it's just one of those things. Like, I keep saying, like, Joe Dante is like Sam Raimi, works with his close kind of knit friends. You know what I mean? Picardo, Miller.
Picardo, is Picardo the guy who's the other bin man in the Burbs?
Yes.
He was in an episode of Justified the other night, not the X-Files, and it was a really interesting episode where he's an expert in Hitler paintings, and they're like, oh, you just want to fucking say it's fake because he's gonna like cheap it off, but his hidden method is going around collecting Hitler paintings to burn them. Quite an interesting role he had in that.
He's a great character actor, Picardo. Like I said, he was Meg Mucklebones in Legend. He was the alien in Explorer, Star Trek Voyager as the hologram and that. But it's a really good stuff about his throat.
Now, there you go. There's a full-on naked scene. I'm just going to look at Innerspace. I can see it from here on my VHS collection. And it's a PG. It's a PG. So I think this film would have suffered for the PG rating era, because like if it came out now, they probably would have edged it towards a 12. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, the thing is, I think the special effects now, like I said, would have just been too realistic now. You know what I mean? It would be too realistic, and all right, this has to be like a 12. Not sure, man.
I mean, this screams that it could get remade. I think when I think about it, you know how like outrageous comedies are gone. You could see this getting remade and being a little bit more perverse, definitely in the comedy sense of it. Because I mean, this has charm, but it could potentially be like ridiculously stupid.
I think you said before, me, the actors actually pull everything off. You actually have like a bond between Martin Short, you know what I mean, and Dennis Quaid, even though they probably never even worked with each other until like the very last scene.
Well, that's it. I mean, that's the thing. It's like sometimes you get actors like that, and like it's all about like scheduling. You know what I mean, and how you fit it out. She's been in loads. She's the cook from Gremlins too, the evil ginger
She is,
woman.
yeah. Yeah. You're like 1 second ahead of this, but I'm not messing up a second here, like.
Shampoo.
Oh my god. Need price override there, like.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than going to a doctor's like that one. They're just sort of, you're sitting there and you're prepared for the worst, and they're going around you, and then they're just like, nah, I just want to see the next patient and get home. He's just like having none of them there, is he?
Nah, it's because he's a proper like, hypochondriac, isn't he? He's always worried about stuff. That's his character. And obviously during the length of this adventure he goes on, he gets a bit more courage. He finds himself.
I kicked the tray here,
everyone had lighters, like guns and stuff like that.
Oh, you wouldn't do that now, man. Jesus, dangerous. I remember seeing a thing with Martin Short in it's. I mean, you can YouTube it. It's on YouTube, and he was on a live television show, and the person talking to him was like a couple of women's like out in whatever show it was, but like he got asked about his wife, and he answered it, and like in between the sets, the woman had to come back and apologise because he answered it like a pro, but the woman didn't know his wife had died like the year before. And just asked him how his wife was and stuff like that on live television, and he just handled it so well, and you could just see what a nice guy he was to just go, oh well, she doesn't clearly know, but obviously she came out and apologised after the newscast. But like, I always had a bit more respect for Martin Short from that, because you can get like, you could just see like how he's gone through it. But that's maybe why he has been a bit quiet the last couple of years, or
yeah, because he was in those what's the one with Steve Martin where his daughter's getting married? What's the called?
Father of the Bride one too, yeah.
This is all set up and that. And the guy on the right, he's in a lot of Dante films. I forgot what his name is now, like, but it's shot really well too. You know what I mean? Being from like 1987, it's got an 80s kind of colour tone to it.
Well, it's not like, again, it's the 80s, so like it's not done in poor man's process or play to that. They're sitting in the back of the car and they're really filming. Do you know what I mean? It's not like,
yeah.
I mean, he like typical like. He looks. I mean, don't get us wrong. These look like the bad guys from Bloodsport here, because like he's like Forrest Whitaker, like that heavy big glasses on, and the Eddie Murphy kind of tash going on. Typical, like FBI secret agent kind of look going down.
Yeah. Oh, we've all done this, haven't we?
I tell you what, I bet Dennis Quaid had auditioned for Batman, the Joker in Batman Mind, with them expressions on his face.
Yeah. Oh my god, what's the doctor from? I haven't got IMDb and I recognise him from somewhere else. Like, I'm just going to try to, I'm just bringing it here, like, because
I'll get the laptop boot up. The doctor does look like David Warner, but it's not like.
He's in loads of stuff like that.
Oh, the bunny rabbit.
I think that's a company. Oh, that music, man, honestly, the score is amazing. Sometimes he's going to get taken off that music. Because you don't know what Innerspace is as a kid. You go, what's Innerspace? He's going to go into space, then you realise Innerspace is in.
To be honest with you, this film is one of the responsibilities. I mean, you want to talk about when we're talking about the Gremlins the other day, and we did the how, like in school, I never got shown any kind of biology films to show in a. It's all like books and diagrams. But if you see this film and you get to see what an actual heart looks like, and you know a bit of like what the anatomy is, this film can teach you a lot if you see it at an early age.
I'm sure it got an Oscar for effects, like, or nominated for one. Oh my god, what's he off again, man?
I'm getting there. Carl's asleep. If anyone's wondering where Carl is, he's asleep.
I'm at school.
We almost had a big day for Transformers, but unfortunately he's got to work. IMDb. Right, we'll get on there and we'll get on Innerspace.
Look at how cut up it is. That's all like right there too. You know what
I mean, even that little bit of fill in the frame as much as possible. There's a guy on top there rocking away.
Okay. Yeah, it's Vector Scorpio, that's it. I don't remember what the company was called. It's got a sort of camera. It's in a massive visual camera. It's not even on a shoulder properly.
That's it, man. Shoulder mount cameras.
I think like I said, I've grown up in the 80s. I mean, these films are just like fantasy, sci-fi. I mean, like, everything.
Hey, quite an early film for Meg Ryan, though.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Frequency with Dennis Quaid?
Many years ago, mate. It's something you can't get hold of. It's like discontinued now, isn't it?
It's actually a TV show now, so I think you can actually watch it on Netflix. There on IMDb as well. There's another original artwork, sort of two big fingers and like loads of people coming out of a ball of a light.
Yeah, I've never seen that one. I remember the teaser one I saw years ago. Cloud poster was Martin Short, and like the pods coming out of his mouth. It was like a hand drawn. Drew shoes on one.
So who am I looking for? You want to know who it is?
The doctor, I forgot what his name is, the one who gets like killed by Picardo.
Dr. Greenbush.
Could be. I haven't got any subtitles on, so I'm just trying to.
No, Dr. Greenbush is the guy who's doing the medical treatment.
Alright, okay. Oh my god, what's it? It rings a bell. This is all that big clunky 80s technology, man. I love it. Oh man.
Unfortunately, laptop on IMDb doesn't go very well to like zooming in.
Laptops don't go very well these days. Oh, he's off something else, man. They'll bring up later on. Like,
The guy who was in there, it's quite funny actually. The guy who was in the car before is the mate who turns up in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, who doesn't want to go fishing.
Right. Maybe that's where I've seen him from. Yeah. He gets upset because the kids are missing, but I don't tell him that the kids are missing. And yeah, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, man. Can't believe there's going to be a Disney Plus show of that. Rick Moranis is back. Now look at this technology, man, not me. And I was jumped till the end. Like, I love it. Just like he hasn't got time to wait, but it shows you like how delicate all the like with chips, because obviously it'd be Silicon Valley, won't it? In the 80s, it'd be like millions of dollars worth of stuff. And towards the end, he just wants to get all sorted. It just hurries it up.
Right, there's something very interesting about this film I didn't know. There's a guy called Kevin Hooks, who I originally know for being the director of a film called Fled. Stephen Baldwin, Lawrence Fishburne. He's actually in this as an actor, but obviously went on to direct stuff like Prison Break, Supernatural, Bones. He's went on to direct a lot of film. He directed Passenger 57, and he's in this as an actor. So, that whole The Chip.
Yeah, like I said, it just shows you like million pound technology. That should be pinch, you know. Oh yeah, comes the famous scene of this bit. This is goggles on.
Zoom, 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 zoom.
But even the design of the pod looks amazing, like, isn't it?
I need another look at that doctor, like, because it might be the guy from fucking being John Malkovich.
Okay, one or whatever. Look how fast he's gone. It's like being at Hoppins.
This would be a great film if it was remade in the 3D era. They could have had a lot of fun with this.
Yeah, you're right. I'm surprised it wasn't converted into it, but because it didn't do that well in the first place. Right. But again, it's all about that IRM. They were amazing.
Yeah, Bugs Bunny again gets it.
What's up, Doc? How cool is that, man?
I mean, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, so I think maybe, you know, like, maybe this doesn't get enough credit. I mean, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, I mean, they're all, like, sort of, the idea of, like, small, you know, again, the big resurgence from Land of the Giants, you know, that modern day technology rather than having to build massive sets and stuff.
Yeah, no, I didn't do that these days, did I?
Well,
just massive screens now.
Well, again, Paul, like this robot here, and the miniature, again, is it the same designer who did Batteries Not Included? Because there's another film Spielberg had his fingers in.
Yeah.
Spielberg had his fingers in so many things, man, in the 80s.
Yeah, he didn't do much now, like, apart from like West Side Story, which is out next year. I've got to say, the films recently I haven't really bothered with Spielberg stuff. Like, it was a newspaper one, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, Ready Player One, I absolutely loved. I like this.
Yeah.
See, this again, though, this is very clever. Like, again, how to keep it not a PG, not have guns, have the spray in the face, and that's it.
Yep. He rings a bell, it's going buggers. But how cool is that, man? I mean, that's a good freaking microscope egg, isn't it?
Aye.
Oh, hello, peekaboo.
No, it's definitely not the old guy because he's not aged. He looks a bit like
Looks like every teacher in the world.
There you go.
No, wait, was he not like...
That's Joe Donnelly. That's Joe Donnelly who's just got sprayed in the face in the corridor.
Mint.
It's got to be.
Wasn't he not like the special effects guy in this film and they just decided just to put him in the film? Something like that. Just use your bank card again, doors these days.
Well, that man just. I mean, it saves any kind of blood squibs or anything like that. Do you know what I mean? It's.
Apart from that punch to the face was a bit nasty.
Oh, technology, man, and like the circuit boards and shit, man, it's unbelievable. But that fucking hair reveal, man, it's like, what the fuck, man? It's like soul glow.
How did her hair fit in all that bloody helmet? You don't expect to be a bad person like the lady, would you?
Well, that's totally Sigourney Weaver hair from Ghostbusters, like.
It is 80s, like, and it's so. I think how she goes just like say primitive or something like that.
Snap
like,
on. Right, this guy here, the baddie, obviously, like, I didn't realise it's the same guy from Mad Max, it's the same guy from Commando, but he's in, like, he's in this film called Evil Beneath the Loch Ness. By far, his career's gone downhill. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm sure it's the guy from Mr. Bean, and I was like, fucking hell, it's the guy from, like, Mad Max and that.
Mate, what was his name in Mad Max?
Bennett, no, that's Commando.
Alright, no, yeah, he plays Bennett in Commando, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Steve Bennett.
It's obviously like, almost like an Inspector Gadget character, isn't it, with a hand?
Yeah.
I think, like, I mean, this Blu-ray does have a commentary, which obviously we're doing this really unplanned today. And I think you're right, like, maybe this guy was just a fucking extra, like, a guy, like...
I'm sure he's like a friend or something like that, and ended up being in the I don't know, I forgot now, like, it's something like that. I read this damn this ravine always reminds me of Terminator 2. Maybe that's where it was filmed.
Oh, Los Angeles, there's a lot of like this, but I think this was obviously them big hills look like San Francisco at the start. You're right. Fucking hell. It's almost like... So Dennis Quaid and Meg Ryan got married in 1981 after meeting on this film.
Mm-hmm.
The only film directed by Joe Dante to win an Academy Award, Best Visual Effects. Fucking loads of trivia, like.
They just spin them out, man. I mean, spin them out. We can reel on them.
The Doctor, Jack's Doctor, is an in-joke since he played He had played a doctor in The Incredible Shrinking Man.
Yeah,
That again, that's Joe Dante chucking like weird cameos and like old films in and stuff.
The thing about Joe Dante, he makes films he likes. He's not really pushed out them, he just makes it.
Oh, he's not a hired hand at all. Yeah, he's definitely not a hired hand, but obviously that's why he doesn't do a lot of studio films now, because like studios like want the film done within 6 months, and then they want loads of changes, and then like changes that like, you know, over time, like if you look at Big Trouble in Little China and Blade Runner and even The Thing, they were all classed as flops box office wise, but became cult favourites because it just takes time for people to fucking discover a film. Everyone hasn't got time to watch everything right now and then, or they basically go, right, I'm going to watch that. Oh, that was really disappointing, and then like not take a chance on a new actor or judge an actor. I don't like his films, you know, but like he's acting. Do you know what I mean? He can be completely different in a different film, but like directors, you know, like patented directors. I was talking about this the other day, where like stuff like there's new generations of directors, and everyone talks about the classics like Hitchcock. And Joe Dante should be recognised as like that era of just classic film makers. You know what I mean?
Totally agree with you, like, absolutely agree with you. He's a fun doing like kid with the Rambo stuff on home and stuff. So many like nods to films. That's like I love him in the 80s, like Commando Mall.
This mall looks like the same mall from Police Academy 2. You know when they're going down and they see, look at that punk, and it's like skating around.
Yeah. It's a quick film too. It's not for very long, but it goes like straight into it within 10-15 minutes, really. You're not waiting around.
Oh yeah.
And it just goes into it.
The more you say, mate, the more I think that guy was a mate, or he's involved in the film somehow.
Yeah. Now, Nathan, bit of a question here. It's 2020. Obviously, malls are a little different these days. Yeah, you have to have masks on. But anyway, if you came out a lift and someone stabbed you in the bum, but you don't know why, but you felt a sharp pain, would you go to hospital straight away?
Well, yeah. That's it. It's kind of like. I mean, he's totally dazed there, like, but.
And imagine dying with loads of weird stuffed animals around you, like stuff, like fucking people in suits.
God, you think you were in purgatory if that happened, like, you know what I mean? Right, he's been in loads. That guy's just had his camera. He's been in quite a lot. He's in
Oh God, he's been blended so badly there. I felt that.
He's in Problem Child too, definitely.
Christ. I love this guy. He's just pops a balloon. What an evil guy.
Might not like clowns.
They would have just killed him.
Some great visuals here.
And obviously these are like fat cells in his arse, aren't they?
I mean, the film's been totally quite serious, you know, until he turns up with a fucking robotic hand, man. I mean,
Again?
The film was totally like serious and believable. Like, even if like Martin Short's just a bit mental. Oh, there's Henry.
Oh, yeah.
To be honest with you, I thought he was the fucking bad guy in this, but he's not.
Yeah, the main bad guy.
I love him in Biodome. Get them out of there! We need to do Biodome.
I'm not trying to a few weeks ago. I totally forgot about it.
Let's see, we just haven't had any time. We'll probably get quite a few done in the upcoming months. It's just been one of those months, like.
It's been one of those 2 months, mate. I'll tell you that now. The entire world's gone to freaking Mad Max, hasn't it? So much going on.
That is quite a believable set. I mean, even though now it would be fucking monitors and touchscreens.
It'd be Apple stuff. Depends who promoted it.
Well, that's from the Burbs, isn't it?
Yeah, and also the voice of Francine from Family Guy. From my own dad.
God, she looks amazing in the Burbs compared to this, though.
Yep, and that was like 2 years later, wasn't it?
Look at it, look at him looking like Danny McBride in the background with a cute mullet.
Jesus Christ. That's Safeway? Jesus Christ. I haven't seen Safeways in fucking 15 years. That's Rat bags. Shove things on top of it.
Ah, the ginger woman. Right, him there, the worker. I've seen him and stuff as well.
Oh yeah. They said he puts people in frames that he knows all the the things to do. Like, oh god. I'm sure it's happened to me one time. I think the first pair of Beats like 5 years ago was like 30 grand or something like that. If I remember right, unless it was just a dream. That's expensive, that like.
Didn't that not happen to me and you years ago? When Indiana Jones box sets like scanned for something like $6.5 grand.
That's, remember, I'm sure I had a pair of Beats that was 30 grand, and then obviously I had to fight and do it again, and it went through right for some strange reason. But yeah, there's been a few times that's happened. Like,
John Carpenter was signed to direct this film. This would have been a bit weird.
it's just short on this film, man. They said it wouldn't be any better or any worse, but it's just what it is.
Robin Williams and Mel Gibson were considered for roles.
Oh my god, look at all the pills everywhere. Oh god. Yuck.
Fucking good old fashioned slap.
They took better.
You're right before, like, because like these two wouldn't have cross matched till later on. So Dennis Quaid's probably, you know what I mean? For Dennis Quaid, his main role is just in this room. Martin Short, so, yeah.
Weeks. And Martin Short had to all the work, really, didn't he?
Martin Short, man, doing... Sorry, Dennis Quaid and Jaws fucking free, man. Jesus Christ.
Wasn't he off his head all the time on drugs, or was I thinking of something else?
It's the 80s, mate. Everyone was off the fucking face on drugs.
I don't know. I'm just getting all these flashbacks from things I watched a while ago. How cool is that, man? No goes a little miniature.
No,
I mean,
but the thing is, no CGI just makes that so good.
No. I mean, like I said, if it did it these days, it'd be like a proper, like, CGI, but bloody to be proper, like...
Oh, it would be scientifically accurate. Do you know what I mean? It's not like what's possible. Some of these bits, man, when he's reacting to his eye and his ear, like, it's fucking class.
He's such a great comedy actor. You forget about Martin Short. She comes in for coffee. Oh, thanks, coffee. No, it's mine.
This clamping on the eye and that. This bit, man, he's fucking stabbed in the eye.
It's just a voice sort of the pod. You know what I mean? It's got its own character, really. The pod. If it's painful for him, the poor rabbit would have been absolutely fucking jumping around in its cage. Oh yeah, has he? Yeah. Wait, there you're not, has he?
Well, that goes to, again, that Dennis Quaid, that just shows you that Dennis Quaid stuff was probably filmed after this, because they would have had to film, because there's no green screen back then, they would have had to film that reaction for Dennis Quaid to actually physically look at that.
Well, the thing is, it's actually from, like, Martin Short's point of view. It's not like Star Trek 2 where, like, a CCTV camera they use, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's actually, like, point of view, because a lot of films do that thing where it's like this film from, like, just like how we would watch it. So they've actually took an account and did it from Martin Short's point of view, which is good. So it just keeps the continuity perfect. But you have some films, like, how did it doesn't even match, you know what I mean? Like, Star Trek 2, like, when they use a CCTV, but then it's like from different angles, but it's supposed to be from like Kirk's memory and stuff like that. It just doesn't work because you know it's from the film.
Yeah. I watched that Hardcore Henry movie. Have you seen that?
Oh, yeah, I've heard about it. I just never bothered watching it.
Totally film made for a VR headset, like.
I just recognise the guy's voice more than anything else. The Doctor's voice.
He looks like David Warner when David Warner's... I love that. I mean, that's what you're on about there. Like the pictures. It's like when the... Safeway.
I was say, yeah, Safeway. Can you remember Safeway's, man, in the early 90s?
Oh, yeah. Morrison's came along and wiped them out, didn't they?
How the hell is Jack Burrow just a manager? He's a nervous wreck.
Yeah,
Maybe that's why. No, he's getting his looks now. But I used to have like, Innerspace score, and when you put it on, it would actually have like the heartbeating music. Do. So obviously Jerry Goldsmith recorded a score with the sound effects on, if you know what I mean. So like, it would actually have that actually on the score.
It's not something I've seen available, like the actual score on vinyl.
No, I had to get from the old AB.
That's what I was talking about before, because obviously Arrow, not only have they done The Burbs, they've done Matinee, two Joe Dante films, but like Innerspace, like when we were talking about it, hadn't been released, and then it just got released as a slap, like release, like nothing flash about it, just out on a Warner Brothers crappy little label, really.
2 weeks a month ago, Supergirl came out from 1984. That means the first time available in the UK, it just came out on Blu-ray. There you go, that's it. That means it's going to be available in the States for years, and we just eventually get it. Where's Masters of the Universe, Warner Brothers? I mean,
Aye.
but then again, Matinee Universal, and obviously The Burbs was Matinee Universal? Or
Yeah, both of them are Universal titles, yeah.
Universal was just like setting off all that stuff. You know, Universal's like managed to change cases and slap a new picture on it and again re-release. I mean, it's a good job it's not like 4K of a thing coming out or anything soon, is it?
Right, the guy sitting next to him's from Happy Gilmore. He's the one who keeps turning up like, "Hey, jackass!" It is. Nice shot, jackass.
No, I mean, I think it's like, I've read somewhere that he did this like one take or two takes, but the first take was the best because of the reactions. But
that's it. I mean, that's when, like, you know, like, you get professional actors in to bounce off from improv, and you just let the main actor go for it, and you see what works best. You know what I mean? But like, again, like when you do it a couple of times and they're just trying to follow the cues, that's when it's like becomes a bit rehearsed. It's like I did the podcast not last night, the night before, for Dante's Peak, and I was watching that, and when Charles Hallahan gets out of bed to answer the door to Pierce Brosnan, he just looks so like acting wise, because he rolls out of bed and opens the door just to hit his cues for Pierce Brosnan to lead the scene, if you know what I mean. And I think when you do podcasts, you look at that more.
Well, watching this before, because obviously Martin Short was talking to the two actors next to him, but he's also talking to Dennis Quaid. I wonder if like off camera, Joe Dante is there going, right, he's going to say this, and he would say the line for a line in, I mean, for him to react to.
Oh well, yeah, that's normally what happens is someone will read the script offline, or it just depends if Dennis Quaid's was filmed beforehand or whatever. I mean, we talked about this with Roger Rabbit, I was going to Craig Fletcher there, but it's Charles Fletcher, who is the voice of Roger Rabbit, used to get dressed up as a bunny rabbit and bounce around the set and say his lines, and like that's a bit like eerie, but like sometimes that's it. It's just line, and someone feeds a line, and obviously you just chop it out with the recorded audio. You know what I mean, and get it in the sound mix.
Martin Short had to react to like three, like just his timing was perfect. It was like him saying something, asking the person next to him, then Dennis Quaid voice over, then he's talking to Dennis Quaid voice, then he's going back to the people again. That's in the space of like 30 seconds. I mean, off the top of his head, bang, bang, bang.
I mean, to be honest with you, like audio dubbing and stuff like that, or A&R, whatever they want to fucking call it for, you know what I mean? You get a scene down, but then obviously when you've got to go back in the studio and you've got to relive that moment and get to that emotional point, or just your tones or your mannerisms, the way you deliver a line, and you're trying to get it right, and you did it, and then trying to get it right. I mean, I've done this before. It's fucking hard. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like you're trying to remember what you said and how you say it, and it's just like, again, going back to Dante's Peak the other day, they made the choice to get out the helicopter, then have a conversation. I was like, well, that entire fucking thing is going to be like redubbed because you're not going to hear your lines over a fucking helicopter. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's a nice little apartment he's got there, like. Little bed set, really, isn't it? Oh, look at the video, VHS tape on top, look at the video player.
That's it, man.
Look at the size of the TV, that'd be massive in them days.
American cable, man. VCR. VHS has just killed his window.
It just shows you, man. I mean, I think I keep saying 80s. I can go to watch any 80s film like this for an hour and a half and forget about everything in the world. I mean, it's just so much memories, and I mean,
that era of life, Frogs Dreaming, like Flight of the Navigator, like Gremlins, or The Burbs. It's just that era of like discovery of them films.
Yeah. Okay, so Flight of the Navigator, this again, as a kid watching now, it's like, oh my god, this film is amazing.
It's just like that fantasy, like the era of where there were the possibilities were right, and just films were made like. I mean, I think 2021, all these films, like for example King Kong versus Godzilla or everything else what's been delayed, people have got time to sit and work on them, not fucking run against a deadline. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Obviously they haven't.
Yeah, I think Jason Reitman posted a picture saying back to editing again. So I think what I might have done maybe some reshoots for Ghostbusters. That's what I've heard, because I thought the film would have been out in March, but obviously it's been put back to March next year.
Yeah.
No. Would have been April, May time. So anyway, June, July. Anyway, so it'll be put back in March, and there's a picture of Jason Reitman saying back to editing. There's a big picture of Ghostbusters logo behind him. So people again, all of them must have had time to reshoot or re-edit the film again. So it's giving them some extra time to get it just right, which is good. But I mean, it's giving them more time to do stuff.
He looks like the henchman from Police Academy 5.
Oh god, yeah. Clicking my fingers. I wonder what VHS tape that was.
Good old-fashioned film.
Probably record on the TV. That's called a landline, people. Just like Elvis shooting out the TV. Love the references.
Surprised there's not a Gremlin reference in here somewhere.
I'm sure there will be, or was one. There'll be one somewhere.
Grab the gun.
There's like a big guy who's got hypochondria, who's a wimp, you know what I mean, and he's fighting someone.
Oh. You fucking feel that needle of balls there, man.
What have I ever worked in somewhere there? I mean, with gun battle, they say it on films, don't they? The score, man. I keep going on about Joe Goldsmith, but he was the king of scores with John Williams, obviously.
Did First Blood as well, didn't he?
He did, yes.
That's the one we could have done tonight when we're chucking ideas out, because we've been meaning to do that for about 6 fucking months.
I know. We're getting there, though. We're getting back on track.
And anyone waiting for Waterworld still can't be fucking waiting for that.
Like, by the time we watch Waterworld, the world would have been in water anyway. It would be the future time we watch that. I mean, that is amazing. I mean, the heart, I think that's real footage, I think.
I mean, that's probably done. To be honest with you, that's probably all been film and reprojection, like. But that's got to be a real heart. There's no fucking faking that.
No. I mean, if I had one, I would know. But I haven't got a heart, so it's all. Boom. Oh god, it looks so painful. That's inside you also. Because obviously, if he went in the heart, he would have had a heart attack, wouldn't he? I think that's what I said before.
It borrows a bit as well from there was a lot of underwater movies in the 80s, and obviously coming out like Abyss and stuff like that, and like the fears of compression and stuff like that.
He's got a dark reflex, isn't he? The art reflex. Just go hole in him. Oh, we're back to pick the scope. Pick the scope. Wasn't it? I'm sure we watched over Joe Dante for the past few times we did the podcast, and it was on it, wasn't it? Pick the scope or something like that. It was on one of the signs or something. I remember playing it out. Anyway.
Well, that's it. I mean, sometimes you forget about that, and it's all hidden back there, and
yeah.
Now they're like, now the forced Easter eggs that you like. Again, if you go to the Marvel generation, you're like, oh yeah, you were meant to see that. We've made it obvious that you've seen that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. There's films that we've seen thousands of times and just notice things, and you tell me things, I tell you things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the best thing about podcasts. Like, well, it's like if you watch what was it, like Jurassic World, when like they've got the Ian Malcolm book on the desk, but it's at no point obvious till you like go, oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah, it's just pretty waste. I'm like, so this is where you get to realise that they just don't give a rat's arse, really. They're just going away from it, explode within like 14 hours or something like that, isn't it? Typical bloody company.
Again, though, it's kind of like, it's that inner voice that actually makes you do stuff. You know what I mean? It's kind of almost like a superhuman is what he's made him. Like again.
Oh yeah, with Bruce's audio.
Mm.
Yeah. Like I said, I think I'm 1 second behind you, so I'm just catching up. But a bit of cheekiness there. I can hear him. Yeah, no, shut up, listen. These days are just being up on your phone to make someone shrink. But yeah, you're right, that setup in the pod, it's so small, but there's loads of stuff in there. I mean, it's like all computers and stuff, and it's got that technology feel of the 80s, like those little CRT monitors are pretty massive.
Well, that's it. It was all like back then. Like if you're going to have a monitor like that would all have to be done for him to look at. There's no imprinting that later on, and editing. Just weren't doing that then. And you've got to think about how computer games were that, because like we didn't have Super Mario Brothers then and stuff. Do you know what I mean? So you've got to see that like what it's capable of graphics.
Yeah. Because
that's one of the things about when I watched Aliens the other night. And like you look at the model work of them ships going past that fucking huge ship, and it's fucking class. But like you look at all the technology, and it's like kind of like, oh, what's that? You know what I mean?
Aliens is awesome. Still want to be top, maybe. Here it goes.
Well,
It's going to be all brave.
I tell you what about Aliens. I was actually talking about that on the Dante's Peak podcast, actually, because I think Dante's Peak's about 15, 20 minutes too long. And I think it really starts to drag its arse near the end of it, or there's bits where it could be just tightened up a bit. And I mentioned Aliens because James Cameron cut out Act 3 in Aliens, right? And like, it's not till you watch a special edition. Act 3 is when the family discover the ship from the original, which literally ties the first and second movie together. He goes in there, he gets fucking face hugged. You meet all the colonists, then the guy from like Red Dwarf's in it and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and like James Cameron just cut that out to meet his deadline. You think, fuck me. But again, that like, when you look at stuff like that, again, if you look at Stargate, when the scene when Kurt Russell's like looks through the second door, because you get all these big reveals of the Stargate and all like the totem poles and all that. Then Kurt Russell looks at this fucking other one they've got where they actually see that they may have a problem because one of the aliens is actually stuck in the rock, and they're like, okay, better worry about that.
Yeah.
And they're like the crucial scenes. Like, even like if you look at Waterworld, where like, oh right, we're not bother putting in the Everest sign at the end. You know what I mean?
Like I said, I didn't know that was such a thing. Casper told me about it years ago. It was on a sci-fi channel, and that's the only time it's ever been shown.
Yeah.
That was like, and even he said that you can never get anywhere. Oh, the runs. Oh, I guess had a good state of his house, man.
But again, this screams like Doc, Back to the Future, that kind of robotic arms and that. They were a massive craze in the like then. Robotic arms. Oh, he's got cassettes.
Yeah. Then he got touched now. Cassettes, yeah, that's it.
The thing is, they've mastered the art of shrinking. Do you know what I mean? And that's what Rick Moranis is doing. And if we mastered that, fucking hell, can you imagine some of the stuff we could do? Like recycling and rubbish, fucking solved.
Yep. What's weird before he had a
There's another Bugs Bunny. That's the third Bugs Bunny. Stuck to the wall.
But I just think what was weird before, he had a microphone point down next to the piano, and obviously he was in Great Balls of Fire, the biopic of Jerry Lee Lewis. That is weird.
Dennis Quaid's been in a lot of films, like. He's in Pandorum as well. That's a bit of a quirky one.
Oh, look at that. How much? No, that's amazing. That like his little flask in his gullet.
Fucking hell, I cannot drink raw spirits like that, man. Anyway.
Like I said, this film actually got me to Sam Cooke, Twisting the Night Away. But then on the vinyl, it was Rod Stewart doing the song at the end, which is a closing credit. But the Sam Cooke one is so original. Twisting the Night Away is on my playlist. I always put it on my playlist.
But like this again, though, there was Risky Business. What is Risky Business? The one where Tom Cruise is half naked, fucking dancing around.
Yeah.
Like, it's the '80s massive dance off. You know what I mean?
That's what's missing. It's just a feel good. It's a feel good film, but you know what I mean, a bromance.
Martin Short is quite creepy looking there, like.
Look at Tom Cruise there when he's on top of the thing, on top of the chair. Now, cassette tapes is what we used just before CDs.
Trying to work out what that little action figure is at the side, but
looks like another Bugs Bunny. Like I said, Joe Donnie loves his Warner Brothers. Looney Tunes, and that's.
I fucking pissed myself when Captain Caveman turned up in the new Scooby-Doo film.
Yeah, I was watching that the other day at work. I was like, what's going on here? Like, and Dick Dassidy's in it. Now it gets a bit serious now.
It's a proper pose for a picture for the film. Alright, there you go. Is that good enough? Aye.
It's like a publicity shot, isn't it?
Like a headshot, aye.
Now, yeah, guys, you words I don't even know what he's on about. Testicles and anus and other things.
I mean, if you remade it now, there would be proper like a dick joke, and I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he got transferred through a fucking ejaculation. That's where it would fucking would have gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, your sneeze was bad enough, mate.
I just sneeze.
But you need to get out was through the knob. Oh god. Yeah, the one to get out. Oh god. Hey. See, I'd say you don't even know what it looks like. I mean, it looks so weird. Look at the proper fisheye camera, that like, isn't it?
It's got a fisheye lens, yes. Just slightly though.
My god, it's a selfie before selfies were cool, right? It's like vlogger.
Yeah. But even there, the slap and the even the slap in the camera turns is a very clever trick.
Yeah.
It's so good, you don't even question it.
No. Oh god.
Martin Short looks like he's got a fucking wig on there, man. Definitely the 80s. Cigarette in mouth, there you go.
Use room also.
Aye, it's not like flammable or anything.
No. Kind of looks like the editor from freaking Superman the movie.
Now, is that a picture of her baby scan on top of them? Because that's what it looks like. That's Kevin Hooks there.
Yeah, that's what I say. Oh yeah.
That's Kevin Hooks.
I've seen shit that will turn you white. Oh no, that's Ghostbusters, sorry.
What's in there? But yeah, you're right. I mean, oh, the cowboy eye.
Jack, my friend.
There he is.
Ricardo. You can tell I've had like I'm not showing every Joe Dante film I watch. You can tell I've actually had fun doing it.
Oh
I mean,
yeah.
Go work on that day. There's no stress. You just go in there, do what you need to do. That was a waste of a cigar.
He's a great character actor. He was really good in Justified the other night when he was really good.
And like the effects of him changing is amazing also. Because it looks like Martin Short at the time. I mean, it's just really weird way to do the effects. I think we'll make a second act now, is it? Maybe?
No. I still can't get how creepy she looks on that original VHS artwork.
Yeah. That's the best thing, because I know you've got loads of those Warner Brothers VHSs, like, and those are like a proper retro home video collections, like leather kind of box, isn't it?
I actually, well, if I roll backwards, I'll tell you what I got. So they're still here, I haven't moved them yet. Because I picked up Rain Man the other day. So basically there's a blue range which have like, I think they were going for like a sci-fi look, and they've got a blue spine and they've got like a green heart rhythm on them. So you've got Innerspace, Dune and Blade Runner are part of that. But I've got Batman, Blade Runner, Bloodsport, Carrie, Enter the Dragon, Lethal Weapon 2, Living Daylights, Lost Boys, Neverending Story, Nico, Out for Justice, Rocky 4, War Games, Gremlins and Highlander are that range. So
Yeah.
I've probably got a lot more like knocking around, like, but I quite like that series of films because they're films you like, you know, you still like not trust stuff, but like I mean, do you remember Dark Castle Entertainment?
Yes, they were the British company, weren't they?
Well, they did like 13 Ghosts and stuff like that, and I'm sure like I remember like them films. You were like, oh, it's Dark Castle, it'll be mint, but then they just suddenly fucking disappeared. I think they did like
Yeah.
Dimension Films as well. Like after like Scream and The Faculty were like, oh, these would be fucking mint, and then they just seem to they get absorbed in other companies, don't they?
That, man. How many times has a company came in like, well, by the rights to this film, re-release some extra features,
Yeah.
no extra features, we'll still charge a fortune. Discontinued, you can
Oh,
get it. It's an old film.
There he is.
People don't realise it's rights.
It's a guy from
Sold on straight.
It's a guy from the original thing, who's the guy, the smoking man from Gremlins and the projectionist from Gremlins 2.
Alright.
He's the star. He's in the original Thing movie.
Yeah. Remember, play with it. Don't talk to it. I can have a way in you, Reynolds. I get nervous. I mean, the one that works is because someone opens the door.
Yeah.
Or someone puts things in front of the door when you open the door, you hear the fall over things.
Well, you know, gotta have a laugh.
Don't know who does that, like.
Check that taser gun out.
It's like Catwoman's one, isn't it?
Nah, Catwoman's is like 2 prongs. That's gonna fire
Yeah, you're
off.
right, actually, yeah. Yeah, you're right. I just realised. Remember, I haven't had my glasses for nearly 3 weeks.
Good old Safeway.
Just did a job for him. I think Meg Ryan's character here can look after herself, like, couldn't she? Like, proper look after herself.
Busted. Oh, what a kick to the nuts, man.
There's been a few nut shots in there, like, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Again, though,
Those bands that look like,
it'll be one of the age rating things, mate. It'll be one of those things like punching people in the face. Sometimes it's, you know what I mean. It's
yeah. I'm just saying, it looks like one of those 80s films like Nova Robotics would have in Short Circuit.
Short Circuit. Yeah, there's another like again the discovery of them films and this like going forward, and it's all like practical effects and you know what I mean. Johnny Five's real because it's a fucking real robot. Do you know what I mean? There was so much impression put in that. Do you know what I mean?
Can you remember now it's just like a remake of it like 10 years ago and nothing ever happens.
Well, that's it. I still remember the Commodore 64 game of that. I just thought that one of the first ever games I got. You know what I mean? And that's like
Going around his house trying to get keys to get out and stuff like that.
say it is San Francisco because there is the Golden Gate Bridge.
Right. He's like a rich businessman in every film, him, isn't he?
Mm.
White suit that he sorted. Sub-Zero. Mortal Kombat. Oh, God.
Dun, dun, dun. Sort of a James Bond looking baddie, that though, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we're just over an hour into the film. I didn't realise this was on for 2 hours.
That feels a lot shorter than that.
Yeah, we're halfway over there.
It must have been 40 minutes, but it's not that long.
No.
As a kid, it's long, but when you watch it many times, you know, like, what the score is. Oof, my matron pulled away.
Oh, behave. He's a blanket for you.
Oh, this is considerate about him.
Good shot, that though.
Mm-hmm. I tell you what, the colours pop out on this HD transfer, like, doesn't it? Like the red and the colour looks amazing.
Again, I'm just really surprised Arrow haven't brought this out with a steelbook or like one of them fat boxes to do. Again, because obviously they love Joe Dante, but You're right, the colours, even this Blu-ray transfer. I mean, I don't know where you even got this one from. You just one day went, there you go, and have that. That's alright. I've seen him in quite a lot. Oh, I thought, no, it is. Isn't he the guy from the original Invasion of the Body Snatchers?
I haven't seen the original version. Body Snatchers. I remember there was a sci-fi channel one that did years ago, like in the 80s. I remember that one. I think so many versions of it.
Because that would explain a lot. Yeah, it is. Yeah. So he's in the original Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and also gets run over in the remake as a crossover. But yeah, it's I'm sure he's in the Gremlins as well. Is because Gizmo's watching it.
People kind of think. Yeah, I remember some of that guy. Yeah, is he watching it or is he watching the race? I don't know. I can't remember now.
He's watching the racing at one point, but then he's watching.
Can't remember now. I can hear he's just getting him pumped up like, do it. I'll give you superpowers. Oh my god, I remember when I bought some VHS from the fast food video,
Yeah.
It was in widescreen, and at that time widescreen was so new that even a tape didn't say widescreen on it. There was a back of it that said this video is being presented in this visual aspect ratio, where the black bars are normal. And I'm like going, what the hell is this widescreen? And I did some investigation, and then after that I bought everything with widescreen. I mean, when you're watching like on a 19-inch TV at the time, you know what I mean? That's anything was all widescreen.
That was some really good camera work there for whoever the stunt guy was filming that with the truck coming towards him. This totally reminds me of Beverly Hills Cop though, when he's swinging off the side. Obviously the bad guy who's been a stone cold killer all the way through it, to fucking like dedicated to his job, just so happens in the scene to be fucking rocking out with music and headphones on. I mean, talk about suddenly just changing a character. I mean, that there is a mint shot, like both ways. Camera low down, guy goes over the top, car on the side. You know what I mean? There's so much risk in that, but that's clearly a guy driving that car now, not Meg Ryan. But
yeah.
No, that was some really good shots. That.
It's just, yeah. It's like, wow. You know what I mean? Like when he's just standing on the roof and he just pulls back, it's just on the sunroof and the window.
That's. I mean, look at that. That's Martin Short, like up there doing that. You know what I mean? I mean, yeah, that's a stunt guy, but that's actually Martin Short. Some really good stunt work, that. I mean, look at that, man. I mean, obviously, his, like, he'll have rods up his legs and all that. Ah, that's just fucking class, like.
Then he pulled back, how was cool as that? That would be so pretty flexible, doing that. And the music is like proper hero music.
You know who would probably work as a good team in this is, you could probably do it two ways. And you know I'm going to say it because he's in fucking everything. The Rock is Tuck Pendleton, and either Kevin Hart or Zac Efron is in the person. Probably Kevin Hart. That would really work.
Kevin Hart and Will Smith.
Yeah, Will Smith's got that kind of.
And then Will Smith can sing a theme tune. Wiki Wah Wah in the space. We're gonna go in the body. I don't know, I can't rap. Wiki Wah Wah in the space. It's a me, Jack.
The fucking people going past the tram have just totally deadpanned that camera. I'm in the movie.
Oh, she knows about the suitcase.
I mean, come on. Big white fucking dog sitting on there like a pink light going down in Groove Town.
That's what your room looks like, isn't it, Mason? Oh my god, I did not realise what this was until a few years ago. If you see his hand. Snap on hand.
It's a fucking strap on?
Yep.
How is this a PG?
Do you know what it was? Yep. Because I'm such a... I mean, I don't know, I'm such a guy that doesn't know stuff like that. I mean, look at that big cassette player, man.
You're talking about like the scene there with the bad guy in his lair, though. Again, that's just an abandoned thing, right? We'll build a set here, and that's it. But like, that's what was quirky about it.
Mm-hmm. He's unrecognisable Picardo in this thing, isn't he?
Well, that's it, because Picardo, I think, essentially is bald. He's like me. But obviously in this and in Gremlins, he has that definitely like a hat going on there. But he's quite like rocking a bit of a tan here on it as well.
It's a me, yeah. It's a jacket me. Oh my god, I forgot about this nightclub in the 80s.
Nightclub?
Nightclub. Go to nightclub, don't they?
Oh, right, you can hear the audio now. I can just... I like the idea of the rockiness. Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's on a spaceship, yeah. I totally agree with you.
Gimbal would be the word. It's on a gimbal.
Yeah, it's a bit of a back information.
There's a guy holding a donkey on the fucking screen. There's a guy with a donkey. Just a guy on the donkey. Yeah, that's there you go. There's a Jimmy Hoffa reference. I'm sure I've just heard the words Jimmy Hoffa. Say that now would all be digital. Good old fashioned dials.
Mm-hmm. I like how like when you watch films like this, the oxygen goes down, but if you tap the gauge, it looks like it looks a bit of hope, doesn't it? Tink tink. You tap a gauge, just make sure it's telling the right pressure in films.
Well, again, though, in situations like that, establishing the gauges early on, and then you obviously you familiarise that that's the gauge, that's his oxygen level. You know what I mean, and you make it like, like showcasing it quite like you can add dramatic, and like you cut from him to the gauge. Do you know what I mean? And it always helps in the editing.
Mm-hmm.
Not like
oxygen.
We need oxygen, and like, oh, that's the oxygen gauge. All right, well, like if you know that's the oxygen, it's a lot of foreshadowing and stuff like that. So
obviously you haven't got time. You've got Martin Short body, but then you've got the pod's going to basically go back in 24 hours, yeah. But then Dennis Quaid's going to die because of oxygen, so you got all that stuff against him. I mean,
a very interesting, like, if Arrow got this right, a very interesting thing, because I was watching Matinee last night, and obviously Mant is an extra feature on Matinee where you watch the fucking Mant film, right?
Yeah.
So they made like a proper, again, fucking throwback film, and obviously just sliced and diced it into the movie. But like, can you imagine if one of the extra features on like a remake of this was like the point of view, and all you just watched his point of view, because they fucking spent a lot of time filming stuff for his point of view, all just to be on that little blue screen. Do you know what I mean? On his little screen, you know what I mean? His point of view, and you could watch the film from Martin Short's perspective.
Yeah, in this scene here, I expect Howard the Duck to be on stage.
Aye.
For some strange reason.
Yeah, you literally, like, this could be the club Howard the Duck turns up at.
Yep. Howard the Duck.
I fell asleep. I was drunk the other week and I fell asleep watching that, and it's just fucking, again, there's another film from this time period that just fucking blows you away, like.
Everyone hits on Howard the Duck, but I loved that film. I absolutely loved it.
See, like, I think it's definitely something we should do a podcast for. But like, if you like, Oh, it's an 80s nightclub and you go in, it's just all the same shit. But like when you watch the 80s, you hear music you've never heard before, and it's just that bounce and that vibe, you know what I mean?
Some fun there dancing like.
He's not getting that fucking hat back, that's for sure. You're right, I can't remember the last thing I seen Meg Ryan in properly, but again, she was really good in like You've Got Mail and stuff like that. But
wasn't it like a war film she was in?
Courage Under Fire.
There again, and that's probably like mid 2000s or something like that.
Yeah, Denzel Washington one.
Yeah. Well, that's what the guy does. He just eats.
Now check that guy out rocking the Thriller outfit.
Yep. So basically, if you get a new suit, that's it. You look cool. Can you remember the days where you could actually go out without having a face mask on? God,
Well, it hasn't been that long yet, but yeah. Remember the days being able to go out to the pub? Like fucking hell. Saying that, like I don't miss the money. I mean, like when we were filming the buskers nights and doing all the busker nights every week, and you got in the bar and you just like, set up a tab and the end of the night, like, oh yeah, it's £90 yours. I'm like, how the fuck has that happened? So I got to the point where we wouldn't go out and we would just go to one venue, you know what I mean? I was like, oh yeah, get a beer. Whose round's it? Oh, it's yours. Do you want a beer? Aye. I just don't miss that damage in my bank account, like, that's for sure.
And now, 90 quid. Fucking hell.
One of them was 90 quid, yeah. I think that was the record.
Yeah. I used to drink through a straw. That's how I used to drink my alcohol pops when I was cool. Not really. I did have a straw.
I don't miss fucking alcohol pops, that's for sure. Jesus Christ.
So look at me. When I used to drink.
Well, that, you know, like, again, we're similar age, and you just got that time, and, like, that was the rise of, like, Smirnoff Ice and Wicked and stuff, and, like, people go, oh, you don't like Wicked? I says, no one likes Wicked after you have a fucking binge drink of Wicked. Be absolutely mortal and spew your ring. I mean, I'm just a lager drinker.
Yeah.
It's like them.
Alcohol pops. Just because I didn't really drink. Or go nightclubbing.
Nah, I don't go nightclubbing now, but, like, again, like, it just depends. Like, I mean, it depends on your situation and stuff, why you don't go out and stuff like that. But again, here's another thing with America, right? Like, there's loads of scenes in movies where they'll go out clubbing and all that, but then they'll drive fucking home, and you think, and they're like, they either like reference it or they just don't reference it at all.
I think the laws were a lot less severe in them days, weren't they? They didn't got a seatbelt on either.
Well, the thing, the law, it was more like, is it a DUI they call it, driving under the influence?
Yeah. DUI,
like over here, it's just bang, that's it, you've lost your license. It seemed like get 3 strikes and you're out in America.
Yeah. You see those films where people just jump in the car and just drive off, but there's no seatbelt on. But I don't think it's mandatory to wear it. Oh no, he's hitting him now because he's doing his adrenaline. I love it, but yeah. No, not the door. Let's go kick the door in. I just remember this bit. Jack. Done that, come in.
Tell you what, like, you didn't half, like, again, you talk about take after take after take. Like, fair enough, you can do that with an actor, but, like, he fucking went for all that, you know. That was quite a hard fall, like, because he's got no padding on or anything. Do you know what I mean?
He's got my bandana on.
I mean, you've got the same bandana, haven't we?
Yeah, I thought I'd order some new ones. Yeah, like because my nose is getting all sore wearing them.
See, this is very.
Technology, yeah.
I mean, again, this will be one of the things where they went, can we do this? Yes, we can. This is how we're going to do it, and this will be a massive selling point of the movie. This transmission thing.
In those days, you could do that, you know, it could looks like a guide, like a spectrum guide there. Where he's got but in this effect, it's amazing. Look at that, man.
I mean, he's just getting blasted there with a fucking
hairdryer.
Well, he'll be a massive fan, yeah.
But it's when the head starts spinning and it's like different effects happen. I
mean, that's just cranking the camera up. That again, though, I was talking about obviously like the Jim Carrey, like the rubber face kind of comedian. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But again, there's no really makeup and all that kind of stuff.
I must be later on to do it. Wait, does it again? But his face goes big. Oh yeah, it's later on. It goes back normal. So is this Picardo? Is this freaking Martin Short? I can't never tell.
No, that's Picardo. That.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just was just his body's a lot smaller. I don't know what. Yeah.
Aye, but that's part of the illusion, though. Like earlier on.
Yeah, because you don't see his face until like now, do you?
But again, though, right? What's very clever about that scene, if you look back at it, right? He goes off to the left. He's probably ran around the back of the set and jumped in the bathtub. That's how that shot would have been done. Do you know what I mean?
How do I mean that looks amazing. I mean, it just it doesn't look like Picardo. It doesn't look like Martin Short either. But
well, no, it's just him with makeup on though. That's Picardo. And obviously Picardo just. I mean, I can't hear his voice, but I'm guessing it's Martin Short's voice again.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. It's Picardo because you can see his scar on his face.
But I'm saying with that shot before, what sells that shot really well is as he walks off to the left, the camera follows Meg Ryan. He'll probably run out the corner and jump in. That'll be a false wall where the bathroom is. He'll jump in the bathtub, and that completes that scene. Because all he got to do is got to rip them clothes off and chuck a gag in. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bet that dog wasn't cheap.
So the Tom Tits eating all his eggs.
Bum bump. Oh, I will apologise for the chair. I didn't realise I had the audio on. Boo 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 boo. Oh, my chair. Huh?
I was just talking about this, the version of the cowboy.
The cowboy.
It's always films like starts off really thingy. It goes a bit slow, then it goes fast,
and then it slows down again. Yeah.
A little bit slow here until maybe my friend ever thinks she's pregnant. Blah blah blah. Spoilers. And then it goes like full steam with a fight, isn't it? So this is like the really talky scene, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, slowing down the pace a little bit. Yeah.
All he needs is a lava lamp.
I've got a lava lamp in front of us. That's so weird.
Yeah, no, that's what I was thinking. I'm psychic.
I'm sure in this scene that it rings a bell that the measuring of the glass keeps changing.
All right, like just in front of them.
And that might be just a fucking one of those videos I've seen where it's not right, but
some people have way too much time on their hands, don't they?
To be honest with you, mate, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the same location as Biodome.
Oh, God. I hate eating in front of people like.
I think Meg Ryan's just high in that scene, like,
Oh, you can just watch him because he just made a fucking mess. See, they know something's not right.
And the chip, the microchip. Where is the microfilm?
But there is a microphone film. Oh god.
Two fell out.
Is a file in it? Did you put some file in it? Too fuck, forgot now. There's nothing worse. They have some, like, you have a bar of chocolate, like a Kit Kat, and there's a little bit of foil stuck in there, and you have it.
Oh, it's horrible.
Yeah.
Especially if you've got any kind of, like, fillings. Oh!
Yep. Everyone, this thing just went, yep.
And again, though, like, obviously, they've probably filmed this whole scene because, like, they would have had to have filmed this whole scene ran through with these actors because they wouldn't know when they were going to cut to Dennis Quaid in the tape. Do you know what I mean?
This would have been done first, you're right.
So, like, but I'm saying, though, like the whole idea of, like, right, like, here, you don't know when you're going to be cutting back and forth, so they would have had to do that whole scene.
Yep.
And as well. But this is a transformation you're on about when it happens here.
Yeah. But yeah, it did very clever editing, like.
I mean, that's sort of like Total Recall when his face goes up, because you almost seen like oh, it was weird. That did you see the top of his gums when it flapped there? There was like this line.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like, yeah, there's a lot of work gone in that.
Look at that, man. It'd be all that shitty CGI morphing now, wouldn't it? But
Oh yeah, that's it.
Oh god.
I mean, the end of the day, they've went right as long as it's sped up and all that weird, because they're just different masks at different stages, and it's all like clever editing.
It's the last one is the big fat one with the big fat nose and the chin. The flowers are still standing. Ghostbusters, you know, just the table.
Aye.
Anyway.
Hold. I've always wanted to do this.
The flowers are still standing.
I mean, imagine that Joe Dante. Obviously, he idolizes his actor because he loves, like, as I say, like the whole old B movies and all that. Is right when you get on the floor and dig through dog food.
Dog food, yeah. Your white suit. What about your Goonies now?
You've just took the words out of my mouth. What's that noise? Moo, baby, baby Ruth.
Gee, mister, you like food more than I do.
I wonder how much of that was improv of him wanting Short to stand up there and whack his head and fucking keep.
Well, that's it, because it was a Saturday Night Live, wasn't he? That's where he met like Chevy Chase and oh freaking hell, Martin, Steve Martin,
Steve Martin, yeah.
I'm thinking names are wrong today. Like, I do apologise.
We'll have a look at IMDb Martin Short, because obviously, I mean, pure look. I mean, again, you haven't seen that, but you probably will recognise if you see the trailer. Just Danny Glover doing his best, like, Predator 2 impression, and Martin Short being hung as a U from above.
The last time I seen Martin Short was in the film, or it would have been Santa Claus 3, the Jack Frost one, and he was pretty good as Jack Frost actually. But that's the last time I seen him on the screen. I mean, on a big screen. And obviously, I watched that Steve Martin Netflix one that they did last year or year before.
Well, Father the Bride Part 3 brackets ish is 2020, so maybe he did that with Steve Martin as part of the skit. He was in that Joaquin Phoenix film.
Oh, I tell a lie. He was not in Hairspray. What was that musical one? Was it Hairspray? He was in. Was it a musical he was in? Oh, I don't know.
Well, he's in there, the new Addams Family movie.
Oh, no, didn't know that.
Some BoJack Good Horseman. Cat in the Hat TV movies.
Was he in Cat in the Hat? Was he the
No,
one?
No, just TV movies. Probably a voice. He's in Frankenweenie.
No, right.
Madagascar.
I never watched them once.
How I Met Your Mother. Weeds. Damages. So he's been in a lot of TV stuff. Santa Claus 3.
Yeah.
Law and Order. Arrested Development. Do you know what I mean? So I think he's been comfortable just working. Maybe he's in Hollywood. Wow, he's class of Mars Attacks.
Yeah, I think that's another thing I remember from.
Well, I talked about Mars Attacks the other day because of Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah.
Clifford. Captain Ron.
No, is that a Kurt Russell one?
Yeah. So Pure Luck. Pure Luck was quite random. Like Innerspace, Cross My Heart, Free Fugitives, Big Picture in a Pure Luck.
When was Three Amigos? 86.
Three Amigos, 86. Aye.
That's not a bit before this. So it's been a few years, I think. I like how the bad people are just so minimalist and it's all clean and kept and it's like a couple of laboratory while Victor Scott was just stuff everywhere. Messy.
I mean, having that on your neck's not going to go any good, is it? Again, going back to RoboCop, I mean, I've seen RoboCop and Predators along that era. And just kind of like... I don't know, just something about like... Again, it's just... I think seeing these films at a good age is like sort of like good... Like opening your mind to like space and like... You can see films at a young age that will inspire you. Oh, I want to do that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's some fucking creepy shit in that office, isn't there? Metallic.
When that first was one of those the Cumbria TriStar house or something house things where you had to buy like 10 of them in a year, otherwise you get charged like 50 quid. And it was like RoboCop 1, and it was like I think it was like another film, but yeah, it was like you had to buy like 10 a year just so you get like some free ones. And it was like RoboCop. Just watching it, and Ghostbusters obviously. Cumbria House, that's it.
I mean, obviously here they've got like a fucking... their own fucking weapons to have a fight off in it.
Yeah. And then again, like that suit there looks really like menacing, doesn't it, compared to the pod? Obviously, that's an idea, though, wasn't it?
He's got the right fucking face expression to be a creepy bastard, I don't like.
And again, is this real footage of a baby, or is it? I mean, it's hard to tell, isn't it? Because it looks so real.
Well, it looks so real, but it's again, how would you get a high definition camera there?
Just stick it up.
Aye, that's definitely got to be.
Look who's talking.
Aye. Very weird camera angle there, like the glare on the ball.
I heard that's David Bowie's Labyrinth ball. So she knows how to handle herself, like gun and everything like that, you know what I mean? Strong, independent woman.
They've got their own system worked out in it.
Yeah. But I mean, like I said, it looks probably like laboratory clean and superb, but then Victor Scott was just a mess and papers everywhere and I mean, which one would you trust, them or the other one? I would trust these guys because they're so bloody clean and tidy.
That's it. And it's all about that robotic chip in that hand.
Disassemble number 5. Just like that.
And there was no spinning around there, and he's blue liquid.
No. The reason why it's blue for is so it kills off all the germs. If I remember right, that looks like a dentist kind of fucking thing, isn't it? We have to drink the dentisty stuff.
The mouthwash, aye.
That's aye. Just like that.
It's that brutal. It's got to have its own fucking air hose. Get in there. Flatliners, there was another film at that time. I mean, that's a bit more morbid enough. That makes you really fucking think. But just that sort of like outlandish fucking scientific films they were going for.
I like how he went, give me powers, like give me like super strength, and he just gets up himself, but that's actually his own strength. I mean,
yeah,
it's one of those things where you don't need someone to tell you that you can do stuff. You can just do it yourself. That's kind of like the main point.
It's like people who drink energy drinks first thing in the morning before they've fucking had anything to eat, and you think you've just fucking got up. And like,
yeah.
I mean, I've had a stage of energy drinks, but like I had an energy drink the other day, and I was that fence I've been building, and like I think after, I think it was the third day, and I was just feeling the burn all over my bodies, everything. And at the shop, I just I'll just grab like an energy drink, and I tell you what, it gives us that little bit of boost, but like it's for nothing better. But like, like as you said, like just get up and do it. You know what I mean? Just that willpower in it.
Great feel like, mate. Did you see the size of that police car aerial before? It was swinging everywhere. In the back. It was massive.
These come all out as midgets, don't they?
It's 2020. I'm a woke person now, so they're called little people.
Right, okay, little people.
It's 2020. Consent.
I mean, what happens to the rest of them? Don't mess with that robotic hand.
What? See, even that is just like so like funny, isn't it? I mean, but you have to get your phone on your left and right in there so you can have stereo sound connected to your 93.5 jack by 1.5 jack on your Sony Walkman.
Climbing up these. That shot just looks like reversed from before when we've seen it like. Oh yeah, because he's inside her, isn't he? That's right.
Yep. And this Martin Short was pregnant, so how can I tell?
Ah, Junior, not the tumor, is it? No. There's another film though. Junior just popped out on Blu-ray last week. Just randomly, like, there you go, and there's Junior. It's out.
Like I said, I think Black Cat, like this year, has just been unbelievable. The stuff that's coming out in Black Cat. It shows you don't need new releases all the time. I mean, Black Cat seems to be a...
Oh, that's it. I mean, people just want to relive that collection films. Oh, have you seen that now? Like, I love, and we've talked about this before, Ski Patrol. And like, Ski Patrol appeared on Netflix a couple of years ago, very briefly, but I love that film and I totally want to do a podcast for it. And like, if that came out on Blu-ray, take my money right there and then. Do you know what I mean?
The other day, like I said, I put on a movie group, yeah? Dennis the Menace.
Dennis.
The 1990s one.
It's called Dennis.
Sorry. On Netflix, it's called Dennis the Menace.
Well, it's called Dennis.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, yeah, it's because of that American thing. Because we had Dennis the Menace and Nasha from Albino.
Yeah.
Then America had Dennis the Menace. So when it came out, it was called Dennis the Menace over here. But again, it was always on ITV too. Same as Richie Rich. Never had a physical release here. on DVD or Blu-ray.
Page
You can get it
Master.
in America. And it's
Page
HD version also.
Yeah. It's Page Master as well. It's like Warner Brothers, that era, isn't it?
Yeah. I just need to get the fingers out. Little Giants, Rick Moranis, Ed O'Neill. That was on Netflix in HD. Where's these HD versions coming from? I'll be getting over here.
Suburban Commando.
Oh yeah. Ship Ramsey. I was frozen today!
You're a dead man, Ramsey. That one.
I watched that wrestling documentary, Beyond the Mat.
Oh yeah, it's fucking brutal, isn't it?
It was, yeah. When was the Mankind was getting beaten up and his kids were in
the audience.
the crowd. Oh god, I was in tears getting those poor kids. Anyway, it's got nothing. Burial's cop. Anyway, that's getting off the topic. Yeah, sorry people. Innerspace. Let's go back to Innerspace now.
Well, even there, if you look on the screen, it's a point of view of him driving.
Yeah.
And there's the little people in the back.
That's really good at it. Obviously, the way of the net is probably like the car is probably like 16 feet long. So obviously they had Martin Short and Meg Ryan at the front, and then them two at the back. And obviously these are just little puppy things on it. See the hands there?
And the hands are so weird, yeah.
Yeah. See that's like the forced perspective, isn't it? Really.
Well, I watched a film Metro the other day with Eddie Murphy in, and you want to talk about? I was like, oh, this is pretty good. But then The Rock as well, them Santa Monica and Venom. They're like Santa Monica.
Yeah.
You can't do a film in San Francisco without going fucking flying down them banks.
Yeah, that's it. Definitely The Rock. Yes, Godspeed. Welcome to The Rock.
Oh, yep, here he comes.
Well, look, I mean, what other film would you just have like two people fighting someone's body with a cool score and cool effects?
Be like, what?
See, I haven't got me budget or anything like that.
Oh, I have to get the rare ratings out. I didn't rate their rate Dante's Peak. Like, how many volcanics? Oh, have that slap.
You go, girl.
Oh, sabotaging.
In theory, the bad suit is better than the pod, isn't it? I mean, because it's got a lot of equipment on it and it's more flexible, more free than the pod.
It's not.
So there you go.
I know, but he's gonna be stiff as fuck getting out of there.
It's true. Stay in the house for 24 hours.
A fucking creepy ass fucking puppet that, like. He's dead creepy, like. Just such a weird character from his first inception to what he is, like, so. Again, that's done between Martin. They'll just have the car cut in half there, and Martin Short will just be like reacting, like rear projection and stuff.
Yeah.
That's how that's done.
And obviously, like screen, it's like cows far away and cows from far ahead, get like that.
Zoom. Take a poo on this, what?
Shove it up your shaft.
Malfunction.
Ah, that's super shit. It's malfunctioning already. It's alright, don't worry. We got a little bit suit. Awesome, man. Again, I'll keep going on it. Jerry Goldsmith score. I mean, it's like, it's awesome. It's because he's on the oxygen tanks. That's why. It's awesome, I think. I'm not surprised.
Oh, this is the belly, innit? Aye.
Yeah. But mind you, this picture was a bit funny. The projection of Tuck on the screen looks a bit weird there.
Well, to be honest with you, I mean, that technology goes all the way back to the original King Kong and that. Especially when King Kong's reaching over the cliff and all that. And it's just kind of like, you know,
That's
picking
nice.
your effects, you know what I mean?
Whose idea was it to have him, like, this entire, like, story is absolutely mental, isn't it? Who thought of the idea, right? We'll have to kill a bad guy who goes in the digestive system, melt him. Who would have thought of that? But yeah, right, that pod does look like, so, Barry's not included.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised that the same people worked on that because that would have been like the year after or something. I mean, that film's got some charm to it, that mind.
I want to do the other thing. Hello there, we are the BBC, British Broadcasting Corporation. We want to charge you £156 a year. Yes, please.
So was that an email you just got?
No, just you tell us BBC.
Fucking BBC, man. Everyone's got to pay a TV license because everyone's sitting in the fucking house. Whatever. Like everyone, like, is anyone going to pay a fucking phone license? You should, like, to be honest with you, it's like any kind of license. You should have to pay a one-off fee for an animal license. Do you know what I mean? Stuff like that. They're going to fucking.
Yeah. Just digested the guy. See, like, I'm like amazing. I never knew that, like that would actually happen in your stomach. You know what I mean? Until watching this film. I mean, I went in Kent to school, like, so obviously that shows you where I went to, like.
I mean, look at that for a set, though. Well, that's it. Stomach acids and all that. You know what I mean?
It's awesome. And there's a rock in this Alcatraz in the back.
I mean, the guy as well there.
And Innerspace could be
Oh, Paul Ray's disappeared. Are you there?
Then again, I'm going back to like explorers. They made a spaceship. Yeah, I'm here. They made a spaceship in explorers and had little oxygen masks and stuff like that. So it's kind of like, really, it's kind of this kind of trait.
Joe Dante's like again, like giving people like River Phoenix a break, Corey Feldman a break. He's kind of like. He's like, you know what I mean? He chose well, but like these are the films where he only worked with Martin Short and Dennis Quaid once, from what I know of. But like,
yeah,
everyone wanted to work with him.
Definitely.
He just hasn't seemed to be bothered.
Like I said,
I'm still good. I should have met him by now.
For us to make some certain films, because
As I say, I should have met him by now, and he would probably be on Lonely Tree Entertainment. But unfortunately, COVID. Him with the glasses, he gets sneezed on. He's in Gremlins too, because he's one of the guys in the monitor. Because he picks apart the rules, doesn't he?
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
He's
if it's 12 o'clock here and 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see it.
That logo things kind of reminds me of something like Egon would wear.
Aye.
Ghostbusters. Or use. Did Sigourney Weaver, but it wasn't Ghostbusters 2, just doing the paint and stuff.
Yeah. Not a bad thing, like
Beautiful eyes. But now look at that, look how small it is.
Dun dun dun. Got him back.
It Chip and Dale, Rescue Rangers. Chip and Dale.
I'm surprised that isn't getting remade for Disney. Is that on Disney Plus?
Yeah, I don't know, mate. I've got Disney Plus, I just haven't seen anything for. I'm waiting for the Mandalorian. I love this, but yeah, like I said from the beginning, it's like, oh God, come on, man, it's taking the ages. This, oh, stop it. There you go. Short circuit it.
Eat me, drink me.
Yeah. Exorcist. That's so weird. Like I said, The Exorcist was never released on here on home video until like 2001 or 1999 when it got classified. It was always banned in this country.
Yeah.
A little bit of a nerdy fact being there.
Well, isn't that one of the reasons The Burbs was came out uncut though? Because The Exorcist and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is actually played on the screens in The Burbs.
It will be, yeah.
All got them goggles.
I get those goggles. Perhaps it was.
Mate, you could wear them goggles now out in public and no one would bat a fucking eyelid now.
There was a guy the other day, he came in with a World War II gas mask and then he passed out.
Is that the one I took a picture of him with Casper? When he's got his entire head and he's got the oxygen tube running down at the box and that.
I think so. Was he wearing a heavy metal top?
Yeah.
Yeah. So all that time, that's just one big set that's really good at, like, oh God, the pod's been bad.
I mean, the end of the day with that though as well, that set would have just been sitting there as well.
Oh yeah, yeah. What annoys me more, what happens to these props? What's happened to that spaceship from Innerspace? We know what happened to the Flight of a Navigator one, it was just on Disney's backlot for years. And then they repainted it and used it as like a Pizza Planet thing in Disneyland Studios. I mean, what happened to these like amazing props? Where is that thing now? Is it just smashed up and got rid of?
Well, that's it. Sold on that like that. Again, it's just sort of like it just depends. It just gets cleaned up, recycled, sell on. I mean, a lot of production companies, you know, like sell like for example cars and all that, and used stuff just gets sold on, you know, or they're all hired from some guy, but like commission stuff like that. I mean. Look at the Queen. Was it the Queen from Aliens? Obviously, when they went to try and was it Alien versus Predator when someone had bought the Queen at an auction and it had been sitting in his garage, but obviously when they went to make it and they wanted to design the new Queen for it, they had to go and get it off him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember when the BBC was doing it for Refuse and Horses, sold the van off to like a private collector, and then they needed it back, and the private collector got more money to rent it out to BBC than he paid for it.
Could you imagine that though? If you went into someone's garage, scanning me garage, and there's a fucking massive Queen alien sitting there, like, hiya.
It was found in a warehouse. I remember it was found in a warehouse originally, and then it put it back together, and it went on like Hancock Museum had like a movie display, and it was in there. And obviously it was just sold on after that. Like, oh, it's all done now. He's safe.
He's married.
I think so right now.
Well, he's married or
That's
mine.
downhill from now on.
And it would get married in real life a couple of years later.
Yep.
But again, that's good casting because obviously there would have been he's probably wanting to work with Dennis Quaid and like the chemistry's just been that right. Then they've actually went on to get married and they were married for over 10 years.
Yeah. Like even now, even Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn, isn't it?
But they
Been
never.
married since like
No, they've never been married though, have they?
Both of them are married.
They've been together a long time. I don't know if they're married or not.
Yeah.
Oh, there he is. The cowboy making a getaway.
Innerspace 2.
Again, been left open for another one.
I guess Coffin's. Yep. Netflix TV show.
That would be a very stretched out series.
Elvis, but he gets his confidentiality, doesn't he?
And she married Rumsfeld. Yo, Rumsfeld! That's how her story ended.
Dude! Everything's alright now, wait, hang on, wait there, that was the cowboy. I'd just say he just ties up loose ends here, doesn't he?
Well, that's it, he just is not interested, is he?
He has answer for everyone from one bit. That's classified. I'm sure that guy for glasses was also in Small Soldiers.
Oh, it will be Small Soldiers, obviously. Joe Dante's big film of the 90s that sort of hit, but then...
Yeah.
Move out the way! That would have been quite funny if it was Rumsfeld.
That would have been like, wouldn't it? Oh, see, this Twitter Night Away by Rod Stewart is terrible. It's the Sam Cooke, like. But when did you play? Well,
Again,
it was 1987's classic Joe Dante's Innerspace.
It was Kevin Hooks. Don't know. You're the master of ratings.
Oh.
I love it how Wendy was actually just called Wendy.
I'm gonna say how many Dick Millers would you give it out of 10?
To be honest with you, Frank Miller's credited there, but it can't be the Frank Miller, but it might be the Frank. I would say 6.
Chuck Jones, there again. Chuck Jones was the supermarket guy. You're right. He was also Looney Tunes, isn't he? The voice of Bugs Bunny or Sylvester. He's more voice of one of them. He was also in Gremlins, wasn't he?
Yeah.
It's the artist guy. The pub so there again. So yeah, how many
I'm just going to say 6. I think it's a good story. I think it's executed well. I think it could have been done with, like, again, it's been victim to, like, it's going to be a PG or a 15, so you can go one way or the other. I think Martin Short, it's one of his best performances. I think it's well cast.
yeah. What's me, sorry.
Oh, look, Rob Bottin, man.
From the thing.
From the thing,
Dennis
yeah.
Muren from Jurassic Park.
Yeah, Rob Bottin, they're definitely like the melting faces. It's a great product of the 80s. To me, though, it's like the Burbs and Gremlins are like Joe Dante's bests. It's groundbreaking for some of the stuff it does. I want to go 7. I'm going to up it a bit more, 7. But again, if you were going to put it in Joe Dante's, the collaboration with Jerry Goldsmith, it doesn't come close to the Burbs or Gremlins for me, really. But yeah, it's a great product of the 80s, though.
Going for 9 cowboys.
9?
Going for 9. I love it. That's the reason why I chose it for. It's just nice and easy just to watch. I love it. 6 is one of my favourites. It's got everything. It's got action. It's got musical cues. It's got 2 great actors. You know what I mean? Just reading on here, the budget was 42. Oh no, wait.
That can't be right for a fucking 80s film. Nowhere.
27 million, and it did 42.
How much was the budget?
27, which is a lot. That's that like. Yep. Just checking IMDb now. Innerspace, 27 million budget, and it did 42 million United States dollars. Worldwide rentals, though. So it did 42 million worldwide rentals, but it doesn't say anything about the cinema, so I think it didn't do that well. Box office. It's a quick look for you. Only did 19 million on the box office. So it's made more money back than anything else. 1987. What was our 1987 movie-wise? Can you remember?
Not sure, but in Industrial Light and Magic had a lot to do with all them inner bits. There's fucking E.T. at the end, ambling.
Oh yeah, that's Spielberg's company. In 1987, here we go, Mason. Are you ready? This is films. This goes again. Good Morning Vietnam. Hellraiser. A film called The Lost Boys.
The Lost Boys.
The Gate. Remember The Gate?
Stephen Dorff.
Yep. Untouchables. Three Men and a Baby. Wall Street. Can't Buy Me Love. Cry Freedom. Highway of Innocence. The Witch of Eastwick. Spaceballs. Overboard. The Bomber. The Living Daylight. Adventures Babysitting. Secret of My Success. Batteries Not Included.
Same year.
Twin Attack came out that year. Dirty Dancing. Robocop. Dragnet. Princess Bride. Lethal Weapon. Jaws and Revenge. Superman 4. Stakeout. Beverly Hills Cop 2. Roxanne. Steel Dawn. That's just a list of you. So obviously it got lost between all those films.
Aye, but it's safe to say Dennis Quaid made the right choice by not coming back for Jaws 4.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure he was off his. Yeah, I'm sure he was off his head when he's doing a film. But yes, Innerspace. Like I said, just one of those films you can put on any time. And getting like 2 hours, it kind of felt like an hour and a half. Really, just kind of flew by.
Well, that's what I was just about to say to you as well. Is it a little bit too long-winded in some bits? But what's to say?
Sometimes, I think because it goes from like the action, action, then like another subplot, then it's action, then it's not to get the then it's like the final kind of thing. I think the story's nice, but it's one or two little subplots that you need. To sort it out. But to be honest, like once you've seen it a few times, you kind of know what's coming next anyway. Like, but
there's definitely a lot to go in. I mean, there's a lot of scientific to push forward, but then obviously Martin Short with like the slapstick comedy when it's got quite a serious tone. But then the bad guy doesn't really carry himself too bad, because like not only are like the bad guys not really a threat because they're more comical. The fact that he's got the arm and he's got, like as you said there, unless you're really looking that he's putting a strap on his arm, it's just like, whoa, what's going on there? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Was this not a 12 on video, or was it still a PG?
It's a PG on VHS. To be honest with you, mate, I've already packed the DVD, but the DVD is one of them Warner Brothers snap cases.
Yeah, PG.
But the Blu-ray you give us, the age rating with it being American's PG as well, so no, just PG in the back. Yeah. Well, this has been the Innerspace podcast. I need to go to the toilet, so I'm going to have to wrap this up. It's been great to have Paul Ray back. We'll be back with some more. First Blood probably. We'll probably find Carl as well. And we'll get us all back together for a big podcast down the line. But for now, thanks for listening. Goodbye for now.
Bye, guys.